Greetings one and all. Right now, I'm here to talk about sensitivity-based damage detection algorithm for structures using vibration data. Uh, we are seeing the contents. First, we will see the need for this new algorithm. Next, we will explore the required knowledge to understand the results. Afterwards, we will know how the experiments are done to know the veracity of the inclusion of new algorithm in detection. Also, we can see the limitations and results of the experiments done. The final conclusion will tell about how this experiment helps in developing the structural health monitoring in future. Introduction. In olden days, the most useful method to find the damage was destructive testing. However, it is not feasible at all times. From the expansion of education, many methods were found like using vibrational data, instantaneous damping coefficient identification like MLDL, wavelet transformation were made. Even then, there were many difficulties like detection of damage in symmetrical structures, need for more data, cost, computational cost, etc. Hence, there is a need for a low cost and non-destructive solution. So, damage detection based on change in the vibration data is selected here. We intend to find the stiffness reduction factors SRFs optimized by the Cuckoo search algorithm from the analytical FEM model. We will learn more about this in the next few slides. Cuckoo search algorithm. It is a meta-heuristic optimization algorithm developed in 2009 by Yang and his team. It is heuristic as it is uses randomness in numbers to arrive at optical result but not the exact solution. This is developed due to authors' inspiration by aggressive strategy of breeding by cuckoos. This algorithm is also proposed to solve structural optimization problems in 2014 by A.H. Gandomi and his team. We can see how the current solution is updated to to the next to in the form of this formula. Here we can see alpha, which is always greater than 0, and also the Levy distribution, and this product here represents the entry-wise multiplication. The Levy flight function is a kind of random walk intended to you introduce randomness. The Levy's distribution is normally made of a function of two random variables, and generally we use here the lambda as 1.5 for Levy's distribution. The main aim of the program is to discard the old solutions and accept potentially new and improved solutions. Here you can see the pseudocode of the Cuckoo algorithm. Uh, but first, in order to simplify the algorithm, three rules were introduced. Here X means solution. High quality X are solutions which fit the objective very well. Nests are the number of different solutions for the same objective we take at a time. The simplifications here are each cuckoo lays one egg at a time and dumps it in a randomly chosen nest. The best solution with highly quality eggs will carry over to the next generation. The third one is the number of available host nests is fixed, and a host can discover an alien egg with a probability of p which belongs to 0, 1. In this case, the host bird can either throw away the egg or build a completely new nest in a completely new location. Since this is a minimization problem, the inverse of objective function value may be taken as the fitness of function. Here we can see the pseudocode. The objective function is decided. After that, the initial host nests are generated and solutions are chosen randomly, and by Levy flight randomly we will choose the solutions which also are used in the objective function to find the fitness value, and if its fitness value is good, then we will not replace it and carry on to the next generation, or else we will replace it with a new solution. And after seeing that, we will also randomly produce the probability with a probability of PA to in order to know the in order to simulate the third simplification. The right side picture we see is a typical example of a random walk. From this we can tell that the approach is first randomly select a solution and how the fitness value change in the nearby region of the solution. Then change the solution to that which is more fit. Continue to do this till it converges. From now on we will know about the required knowledge to know about the results. Since it is a damage done, it is the change in the vibration data we are dealing with. We are seeing is the sensitivity. Here you can see the equations that lead to the dynamic analysis of the structure. Structural damages lead to changes in dynamic characteristics of the structure such as natural frequencies, mode shapes, and modal damping. Due to damage, there is slight change in stiffness, eigenvalue, and eigenvector, where lambda is the omega square natural frequency of the structure. Here you can see K plus delta K is the change in stiffness matrix that we will observe when there is a damage. By rearranging the equation, you can get and using the transpose of initial equation, you can get the delta lambda equation and also the delta K equation. Here delta Ke is defined as the stiffness reduction factor that we need to find, SRF, and also the Ke is the element stiffness matrix. From the above equations, we can say that the change in natural frequency of the structure is a function of change in stiffness of the structure, which by itself is a function of stiffness reduction factor of the elements. Moreover, the relative change in eigenvalue can be represented as a measure of damage known as damage index. Di is equal to lambda minus lambda naught by lambda naught. Static analysis. It is required as sometimes only dynamic analysis is not sufficient to locate the damage accurately. For example, for a symmetrical structure, you can get a unique solution for damage identification. It is similar as that of a dynamic analysis, but done for the change in displacement. You can see the basic equation F is equal to Kx, and F is equal to K plus delta K into X plus delta X. And finally, you can get the sensitivity equation. Objective function. The objective function defines the error between vibration data obtained from analytical model computations and experimental model testing. The objective function can be defined in different ways depending on static and vibration data available. It can be based on frequency measurements, displacement measurements, both on frequency and displacement measurements, frequency data and acceleration data. The first two objective functions are direct. Optimizing them can give all the SRF. The number of points in which displacement measurements has to be decided by the investigator. The other two objective functions are done for accurate detection and in exceptional cases. Here you can see the different objective functions that are required in this experiment. From the formula we can see that two modes of vibration must be considered for formulating the objective function. The first two objective functions are as direct as informed above. Here AN refers to analytical and EX represents the experimental results. For the third objective, the values of W depend on relative accuracy in measurement of natural frequency and displacement. The values are chosen between 0 and 1, and in most cases relative measurement error of frequency is about 1%, whereas displacement or acceleration measurements are more contaminated with noise, and it is customary to add 5 to 10% white noise to analytically obtain displacement profile to simulate field measurements. Also, we need to note that before the damage detection procedure, you need to find the weights. This is achieved by developing the finite element model of the structure to be assessed and simulating a suitable damage scenario. Adequate measurement noise is added to the frequencies and displacements obtained from numerical model and weights are determined. This is normally used when dealing with symmetrical structures. The fourth is based on frequency data and acceleration time history. If accelerometers are used to record the dynamic response of a structure subjected to an arbitrary excitation, the obtained acceleration time plot could be used to define the objective function. Here, the Tij represents the acceleration of ith location at jth time step. Endpoints refer to the number of measurement sites. The weights are the same as above. The fourth objective is normally used during earthquakes and similar types of excitations. This is because the change in displacement is difficult to find even with more sophisticated equipment. Here you can see the procedure to find the damage. First, we will use the FEM to obtain the natural frequency, then use static analysis and dynamic analysis to find the displacement and frequency measurement. After that, we will measure the displacement and frequency for the damaged state of the structure. Then we will select the objective function as our requirements. Then we use optimization using cuckoo search algorithm. At the end, we will find SRF that can be used for damage detection. From now onwards, we will see the numerous experiments that are done in order to actually verify that cuckoo search algorithm is an efficient way and can reduce cost during the structural health monitoring. To demonstrate the proposed damage technique, a cantilever beam has been used as an example. The example problem is taken from an experimental study reported by Yang. And also, as you can see, this is something similar to an calibration and also to verify the initial results. Here you can see the geometrical specifications of the cantilever beam used. It is an aluminum model and with a length of 495.3 mm, width 25.4 mm, depth 6.35 mm. The beam was modeled using 20 plane frame elements having 6 degrees of freedom at each node, and also the damage is induced in a ninth element. In this picture you can see the detailed structure of the cantilever beam and also where the damage is induced. The number of nests here was set to 25 and the probability P is set to 0.35. The process is iterated about 65,000 times for good convergence. For the sake of comparison of results, it was found that results so obtained agreed well with the reported results in reference, which was obtained using a genetic algorithm. Here the results show that the damage is correctly detected in element 9. Small magnitude of SRF is detected in second and 12th elements, may be due to noise in the frequency measurements and non-linearity caused due to severe damage. The results also show that there is an improvement in accuracy by comparing with the reference results. The computational time is also significantly lower compared to other methods, as the time required for eigenvalue analysis is saved for each iteration. The method also has an advantage that it does not require any accurate analytical modeling or finite element model updating. The inferences and limitations here we found in the example 1. The number of modes used in the experiment in order to find the change in frequency. Theoretically, the measurement of frequency changes in one pair of modes will yield a locus of possible damage size. However, in order to get a unique solution, optimal number of modes needs to be considered. For example, in the above example 1, when 5 modes were considered, we got an ill-posed problem and solution. This is due to the noise in the frequency measurement, uh, and also there is a practical limit to the range of frequency that a structure can be tested for. So only first few natural frequencies are used in demonstrations. In consideration for above, we only use 6 modes in order to find the change in frequency. The second is the number of finite elements used. In the above example, you can see that in the example only 20 elements are used in order to model it. And also from the graph, you can see that irrespective of the finite element mesh used, the damage is accurately detected. However, the magnitude of the detected SRF depends on the proximity of the damage to the adjacent finite element as well. In the simulation presented here, the number of elements is fixed at 20 to demonstrate that accurate analytical modeling or finer mesh is not required for efficient damage detection. In the example 2, cantilever beam with damages at multiple positions has been considered. The the beam is simulated using ANSYS, and model parameter obtained from ANSYS is used in place of experimental values. You can also observe the geometric and material properties of the beam. It is a steel structure with length 600 mm and width 25 mm, depth 7 mm. And similar to example 1, as we told above, 20 sections are used in analytical modeling. The damage was induced in 4th and 17th elements. 40% and 60% reduction in cross-sectional area was provided in 4th and 17th elements respectively. Also here each node has 6 degrees of freedom, and the first 7 natural frequencies are used for damage detection. You can see the design of cantilever beam used, and also the crack that was made is 5 mm wide. Here the results show that the damage is correctly detected in element 4 and 17. Small magnitude of SRF is detected in 14th element, which may be due to non-linearity caused due to severe damage. The algorithm detects SRF of 24.59% and 58.38% in 4th and 17th elements respectively. The results show that the algorithm gives a good insight into relative magnitude of damages at different positions. Here you can also see that analytical model also agrees with the ANSYS undamaged frequencies. Although there is a little error, it's not of importance in this model. In example 3, symmetrical structures are used in order to show that the proposed model actually can detect damage detection uniquely in symmetrical structure. As we know, symmetrical structures are one of the hardest to detect damage accurately with less data. So this special case of symmetrical fixed beam is considered in this example. In this case, displacement measures have to be made for effective damage detection. Both model analysis and static analysis are done to obtain the natural frequencies and the static displacement values. A uniformly distributed load of magnitude 500 Newton per meter is applied for displacement values. Damage was simulated in form of a raw saw cut. It was induced in 12th element. The beam being modeled using 20 elements, and the first 6 frequencies along with the displacement values at 5 points on the beam are used for damage detection. The geometrical specifications are shown here. It is a symmetrical aluminum beam. Here you can see the analytical values and ANSYS values calculated. Now the inferences and results of example 3. The left picture shows that results when only frequencies are considered. In this case, only the first 7 natural frequencies were used for damage detection. Objective function defined is minimized in this case. The results show that the damage is detected in 12th element and 9th element, whereas the actual damage is only in 12th element. Perfect convergence in this solution was not observed. This is because with the symmetrical structures, the damage cannot be uniquely located with frequency values only. Damage detection considering only displacement changes is not demonstrated in this example, as the procedure requires a large number of displacement measurements since the displacement changes are negligible for such small damages. The right picture tells the result for when both frequencies and displacements are used for damage detection. As we have told above, the uniformly distributed load of magnitude 500 Newton per meter is applied on the beam, and the vertical displacement at 5 different positions on the beam: 90 mm, 210 mm, 330 mm, 450 mm, and 570 mm from the left end of the beam. It is observed before and after the damage. The load is chosen so as to obtain a maximum displacement of 5.3 mm, which is of measurable order. Both the weights are set to unity since both frequencies and displacements are obtained with same degrees of accuracy. The figure pinpoints the damage to the 12th element. Thus, by combining both frequency and displacement measurements in the analysis, the damage could be detected accurately in case of symmetrical structures. Also, the computational time is reduced by invoking Gauss elimination procedure on the banded matrix to solve for the change in displacement. In most cases, the displacement changes tend to be very small, and hence very sophisticated instruments are required for very accurate measurements. This is the last example and also the most uh, realistic example. Most real-life infrastructure come under this category of space frame model. A three-story frame model is chosen as the subject of the experiment. Focus is laid on detecting the story in which damage is present rather than identifying the structural element. Lumped mass model is used for finding natural frequencies and dynamic response. A two-stage damage detection procedure is carried out. The flexibility provided by the bolted connection is thus incorporated after the first stage. The lumped mass model is done first so that we can locate approximately in which story it is. Later, detailed analysis can be done to locate the damage accurately. This is done to reduce the dimensionality of the problem and the computational cost. Here you can see the geometrical specifications of the model. We can also observe how the accelerometers are attached to collect the data. At the end, we can also see the lumped mass model of the structure. The model has 3 degrees of freedom, and the shear building model is used to compute the global stiffness and mass matrix. The natural frequencies obtained by the eigen analysis are given in the table. After constructing the damping matrix, the Newmark beta method is used to obtain the dynamic response to base excitation. Uniaxial shake table experiment was done on the specimen with accelerometers attached at individual story levels. The recorded acceleration time history and the natural frequency obtained through a sine sweep procedure are used as an input to the damage detection. For this particular problem, a two-stage damage detection procedure is carried out. In the first stage, the finite element model is updated so that the acceleration time plot obtained experimentally and analytically has same character as the undamaged state. The model is updated by applying a suitable stiffness reduction factor for each story. The stiffness reduction of 5%, 62%, and 2% has been obtained for top, middle, and bottom story respectively. But this is obtained by minimizing an objective function based on direct comparison of frequencies in the undamaged state. The flexibility provided by the bolted connection is thus incorporated in the updated model. Shake table experiment was conducted for sinusoidal wave of frequency 1.6 Hz and amplitude 1 mm. You can see the acceleration time plot for the structure. The acceleration time plot obtained after model updating is shown on the right picture. From the plots, it can be inferred that the damage has caused a shift in the system's natural frequency, thereby lagging a response. 2% damping is considered in the analytical model for computing the response. In the second stage, the updated model is used for damage detection. To control the growth of error, only those time steps for which the acceleration in the intact and damaged state is either both positive or both negative is considered. Here you can see uh, the results after only using acceleration data. The acceleration of 3 stories between 2 and 8 seconds with a time step of 0.3 seconds is considered for defining the objective function. Here the number of endpoints are 3. The response becomes steady after 9 seconds. In this case, the second weight is 0. The figure shows that all elements are detected as having damages. This may be attributed to the errors in measurement and noise. However, the middle story is detected as having the most severe damage. Here, different plots using both frequency and acceleration time response are shown. The frequency changes in first two modes are also considered in addition to acceleration changes. The relative contribution of frequency and acceleration to the objective function is considered as unity, and all and second weight as 1, 0.1 and 0.001 respectively. It can be inferred that the damage is accurately detected in the middle story when second weight is 0.01. Therefore, the relative weights W1 and W2 play a very major role in damage detection. In addition, since the error in frequency measurement are relatively less, it is more appropriate to make large number of frequency measurements. The inferences observed. When you see the effect of damping ratio on damage detection, the procedure is repeated for 1.5% and 2.5% damping along with the 2%. Similar results were obtained, indicating that change in damping ratio has negligible effect on damage detection. This may be attributed to the peculiar nature of the objective function defined based on relative error. In order to know the effect of a number of time steps on damage detection, the procedure was repeated for a two different number of time steps between 2 seconds and 8 seconds. We can see the plots for that. The figures show that the damage story could be accurately located and is independent of number of time steps considered. However, the magnitude of the detected damage depends on the number of time steps considered. This is due to the error involved in the instrumentation and the faint noise in the data which causes the problem to be ill conditions. This problem may be tackled by inducing a regularization parameter in the objective function which stabilizes the ill conditioned problem. The proposed damage detection technique may be find application in health monitoring of buildings subjected to earthquakes. The ground acceleration data could be obtained from an earthquake recording station, and the sensors embedded in the different structural members of the building could record the acceleration time response. To detect the exact column containing the damage, a more rigorous analysis is required. The structure may be modeled using a space frame element, and accelerometer readings on each of the columns could be used for damage detection. However, the tremendous computational time poses a serious problem for the damage detection of large structures. In such cases, frequency and mode shape measurements could be combined to solve the problem. It is theoretically possible to identify the mode shape from acceleration response. It is then possible to define an objective function based on identified frequencies and mode shapes of the structure. Another way would be to use the obtained mode shape changes to detect the damage based on model strain energy change. The proposed damage identification technique with acceleration response may also find application in damage detection of bridges. In this case, the vehicle force acts as the forcing function which can be obtained by solving the moving force identification problem, and the bridge dynamic response may be obtained from accelerometers attached at specific positions on the bridge. The final conclusion. The sensitivity equation used in defining the objective function has slightly reduced the computational time when working with frequency data alone due to optimization by Cuckoo algorithm. The method did not require any accurate analytical modeling. The numerical results showed that the damage could be detected with reasonable degree of accuracy. The proposed technique could even quantify the relative magnitude of damages at different positions. By suitably combining the frequency data with static displacement data, a unique solution to the optimization problem could be guaranteed. Even a very small damage in one of the columns of multi-story frame structure could be detected with reasonable degree of accuracy. Here you can see the references we used to in order to build this presentation. Some of the methods described in a presentation is listed here. There are some other methods such as sine sweep method, which are not described here but are important to the technique used in the experiment. Last but not the least, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.